A client saved is a client earned. Why top producers are not forgetting about refinances today. If you're a mortgage professional, we've got your playbook ready, and here is how to find cash out and debt consolidation deals with step-by-step scripts and a playbook for your sales and your marketing efforts. Everyone's trying to find more home buyers through realtor partners and whatever other methods they can come up with. And they should be. But did you know that refis are still 30% of transactions happening today? You should be focused on buyers and sellers, but you can't walk away from refis completely, especially cash out and debt consolidation refis, because those are mostly what's occurring today. This playbook and strategy is specifically related to the predictive cash out and debt consolidation scenario alerts in MonitorBase. A predictive cash out or a predictive debt consolidation alert is a scenario when a contact in your database, whether that is a contact from your phone or email list or CRM contacts, past clients, prequals, denials, someone in those, one of your lists has a high probability of being in the market for some sort of equity product. And that's in the short term. There are lots of reasons they would be interested. Just a couple of background concepts. One scenario, the borrower has a high intent score for a mortgage transaction and has recently had multiple revolving inquiries on their credit. This may show a need to tap into equity because their increasing revolving debt means that they are increasing revolving payments, which the borrower will start to feel soon. It doesn't always mean that they're in financial distress. Maybe they've just decided to make home improvements or are using revolving credit lines for that kind of a transaction. Either way, you don't need to bring up their debt history, but focus more on their interest in a cash out to access the equity. Or another scenario, again, they meet your credit standards, but they've had their credit pulled for a home equity line of credit. And that would be in the past 6 months. And honestly, whether they got the HELOC or not, it shows an intent for a future mortgage. HELOCs are nice because they are a fast way to access equity, but they don't always have the best terms, and generally, it's adjustable interest rates, non-deductible interest, and harsher credit standards. Your lower credit clients just can't get a HELOC. We see trends in the credit data where that HELOC often results in either a home listing or a cash out later down the road. We'll cover those home listings in a minute, but even though a cash out refinance requires more work, once they've tapped their equity and made their home improvements, borrowers are more likely to consider the effort needed to refinance as worthwhile to consolidate and get rid of that HELOC. Another scenario, again, meeting credit standards but has an open home equity line or HELOC, or a second mortgage. And with a low estimated combined loan to value, combined with their estimated rate on their current primary mortgage being near or about the current rate, second mortgages and HELOCs, they usually have higher rates than the first mortgage. And these are excellent opportunities to send comparisons and start showing them what their net savings could be if they were able to consolidate that, that first and that second. We see these transactions happening even when the current market rates are higher than their existing mortgage rate on their first mortgage, if their net monthly savings are significant enough. Aside from consolidating that, that second mortgage into the first, you can oftentimes help them by, paying off other high interest rate debt in that same process. Paying off a second mortgage and an auto loan and a credit card accounts can be a significant monthly savings. And finally, I just want to note here, guys, don't forget to ask if they're considering selling in the coming months. We see so many homeowners take out second mortgages to complete home improvements and then list their home for sale. They do this knowing they'll be getting a cash influx to pay down that debt at the sale of their home. And if that is the case here, you're going to have a new conversation. So kind of remember that and ask the question. And remember, listings are fantastic to help you with your referral partners, developing and strengthening those existing relationships. Now, we keep saying this in every one of these playbooks, but with all of our predictive scenario alerts, we're out here trying to get ahead of the curve so that you can get an alert before somebody has an inquiry with your competitor. And it's about probabilities. It's a numbers game here, so not all of the people that we alert you on will want or need an equity mortgage product right now. Some might be in the market to sell, right? Others will be thinking about buying, and some just won't be interested at all. That's okay. Almost every one of these people is going to want and need a mortgage in the future. Reaching out, connecting, any of this outreach that's done well is going to help you in that relationship. The only alert where we're 100% certain that they're in the market is the inquiry alert, and that's after they've already started the loan process with somebody else. So, when someone hits the predictive score, you know that they are statistically so much more likely to be in the market than anyone else in your database, and it's very worth reaching out to that person and following up with them to try and create some engagement. If you take a random guess of who in your database is going to be in the market for a mortgage right now, you'll be right 1 in 100 times. Using our predictive scoring though, we turn that into 1 in 10 times. And even then, even with those improved odds, there's still kind of 3 probable outcomes when you reach out. 1 is that they're not in the market. 2, they're thinking about it, but they're not ready right now. Maybe in the short to medium term, they'll be interested. Or 3, they are interested in moving forward in the short term. Since you know that you're going to be reaching out to all 3 of these kinds of people, but you're not sure which of them is which before you engage, here is the script for that initial outreach to help you navigate that. This script is just one example, so feel free to make it your own and communicate the message in your own words. But it's going to be, hey John, it's William with MonitorBase. So again, hey, first name, it's, you're reintroducing yourself and the company that you're working with. And the goal is to make a connection at this point. You want to remind them of how you know each other. And this will change the tone of the conversation completely from a cold call to a warm call. So for example, if you helped them in financing, to buy a home 2 years ago, bring that up. If this is a contact that an agent provided to you, let the client know of that connection. So a couple of ways that you might see that happen is, hey, we worked together on a loan a couple of years ago. I helped you purchase your current home. Or I closely work with agent ABC. Or, I worked for you at XYZ company in 2012. Or you taught my daughter Madison in the 2nd grade. These are, depending on what database you're putting in here to be monitored, these are people that you have a personal connection to. So you get the picture. Now that the conversation has relevance and connection, now it's time to start talking about them. So you say something like, hey, you may have seen a letter or an email from me recently. My system periodically pre-qualifies my clients that seem like they may be in the market. And so your name popped up, and I thought I would just give you a quick call and see if I could answer any housing or market or mortgage related questions for you. And then pause and let them talk and ask follow-up questions that will get them talking about their future and their plans. So, for example, have you been thinking about buying a new home? Or have you thought about a move anytime in the future? Or have you considered taking advantage of your, unprecedented levels of home equity? It's all about connecting and getting them to talk to you about what's relevant and most important to them. So remember, talk about them and give them value. Let the conversation continue from here with you asking questions about them. Let them tell you what they're thinking about, whether that's selling or buying or doing a cash out. Those are all complicated, scenarios, and they're difficult for people to navigate, and you're an expert in that field. So all you're looking for in that first initial call is if they have any intentions of doing a cash out, selling, or buying in the coming months. People don't really want mortgages, they want homes. And the more value that you can give in the form of insight, answering questions, it's gonna open up that conversation and that relationship, and you're gonna have a meaningful discussion. And you wanna differentiate yourself here. Talking about rates and terms can really put people on edge and make them less likely to make a decision. Using, some of the powerful tools out there like the MBS Highway tools to convey the value here, using simple, visual, and easy to understand tools shows them how you are unique compared to other lenders. And by helping them navigate that difficult situation, you're gonna help them make the right financial decision for them. And that's really important, and being able to be that advocate is going to create a very strong relationship. So, depending on which of the 3 scenarios turns out to be the case, they are interested in and moving forward in the short term, you want to answer any questions and get them a comparison so they can easily understand the benefits of going through some sort of cash out transaction right now. Give them an idea of their value and ask if they have any recent home improvements that might affect that value. And then keep in touch through that process. Doing a transaction like this is a complex decision, and it has a lot of math. So helping them maintain motivation by keeping the end goal top of mind is going to be helpful. So the final scenario, there are people that just aren't in the market. You're going to reach out, you're going to engage, and they're going to say not really interested right now. There are other things to talk about and connect on. Don't just rush off the phone to avoid the conversation. Connect like a person. They'll remember, and then thank them for their time. Send them some sort of nurture campaign and from your CRM. And you don't need to be doing this every week, maybe just every month or a few months. And then lastly here, if people aren't answering the phone, leave a voicemail using similar scripts as we kind of been talking about here. Send a text message if you can. Send an email as a follow-up. And set a reminder in 1 or 2 weeks to check back again. Again, it's a numbers game. You're going to make several calls and emails before anybody even answers the phone or responds to your emails. And then you're going to have to speak with several people before someone says, yes, I'm interested and ready and moving forward right now. Even the people who are ready, they might not be ready now. So we remind you it's a numbers game here because all of these things take time. And as much as we want to rush it and work hard and grind, it's important to remember that processes like this take time. But if you follow the process and repeat it and optimize it, you'll find out within just a few months you're seeing consistent results. And as you practice that process, your processes are going to improve and your results will improve. And the whole system is going to work better and better for you over time. So the more time that goes on, the more results you're going to see from your previous efforts. This is like compound interest. The longer it goes, the more your return on investment will be. And you're investing today to produce results in the future. So no investment out there is going to produce a return without time. Success with something like this is going to mean an extra deal or two each month out of your phone contacts and email contacts and CRM and past clients and credit denials. And you're going to be able to generate some referrals for referral partners to strengthen those existing relationships or maybe create some new ones. So if you have questions or need any training, we have playbooks on all of the alerts in our system, and our team is always happy to set up a training session for you or your team. You can reach us at sales@monitorbase.com or just fill out one of the forms below.